Hey guys, welcome back to Be Creative. Today I am going to be making a page in my Dina Wakley journal for her February gratitude prompt. The theme is nature, and I'm going to be working on a page that I had previously been practicing something on. If you are horrified right now, I don't blame you. That face is the stuff that Nightmares is made of. It is horrible. So I have decided that I'm just going to cover it up with plain white acrylic paint. I'm using a brayer because I figured that would give me the best coverage, and I don't know what medium I used to originally create this monstrosity, but it took 2 coats of really thick white paint to get it covered up, and you can still see like this faint outline of it. Oh my god, it's creepy as hell. It was supposed to be a Frida, if you can believe that. Now it's like a creepy zombie Frida. I don't know. I'm going to have nightmares about that later. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and speed this up now. And once that's dry, we're going to coat it with clear gesso because the bullseyes were sprayed with Dilutions ink. And as you can see, they still reactivated. So I'm hoping the gesso will fix that. Now I'm going to pick my focal point for the page out of a stack of gel prints that I made on Wednesday using some heavy body Dina Wakley paints. I picked the one with the person that has the leaves in it because it seemed the most appropriate since the theme is nature. But the tag is pretty busy, so I need her to kind of stand out just a smidge from the back of the tag. So I'm just outlining her with a white gel pen. And to be honest, it took me a little bit to foster some gratitude for nature. I mean, I like nature, and it's kind of ironic that I picked this woman that has nature in her, because I don't even like nature on me. But I figured it was appropriate, and I don't know, it's pretty. So after I get her outlined with the white gel pen, I'm going back around just the edge of that white line with a yellow Posca pen. And that's like my new favorite thing to do, is use that yellow Posca to outline stuff, because the yellow works with pretty much everything, but I also typically use the same color palette. I like blues and reds and things like that. Once I get her outlined, I'm going to do the same thing on the inside of her body by outlining the inside of the leaves that are, on the inside of her body with the Posca pen as well, just so they stand out just a little bit more. Now, because this is my focal point, I want the edges really dark, and I couldn't find my black paint, so I'm using Umber by Dina Wakley, and it's not as dark as I had hoped, but as we have previously established, I'm a stubborn crafter, so I'm just going to keep going with it. And I'm going to actually fiddle with the edge of this tag 2 more times later. So now we can see that Zombie Frida is still showing through the page, and this is how I decided to fix that. I put down a line of cheddar, and then I put down a line of aloe, and I put those 2 colors next to each other because they would, they're like shades of each other, and then a line of peacock. And I'm going to just basically smear it, but at the last minute, I decided to add a line of white, and I'm really glad I did, because this winds up being really, really pretty. I have just an old used up gift card, and I'm just dragging it through the paint. And you can see that I'm wiping off the excess paint on the back of that burlap, because I don't really like the burlap, so I figure I'll just use it as a color palette. Now I'm just playing. And I'm using the little gift card to make swishes and swirls, and I had put so much paint down to cover up Zombie Frida that's why this worked so well. There was a lot of paint on the page, and the background has so much texture and it's so pretty. I decided that I didn't really need to do any stamping over top of it. But I do need to add back in some white space, and I also need some black for a neutral. And I didn't want to stamp directly over the page. So this is my favorite way to accomplish both of those things, is to stamp directly on vellum. I am stamping with Stazon because vellum is a non-porous surface, and the Stazon won't smear, but you do have to let that dry for quite a little bit before you do anything with it. Disregard the 2Bs, that's for a future project. I was just being proactive. Now I'm going to create my little focal point, and I'm just not very imaginative, I know. It's nature, it's the name of the gratitude prompt. And I'm stamping on some collage paper with some Holtz foam stamps. I'm trying to use those more. As you can see though, I didn't get the best impression the first stamping time, so I kind of shocked myself. I was able to go right back over the top and stamp it. I didn't mess it up. I was like, score, that is awesome. I'm going to cut out my stamped images. I think those are scribbly branches. I think that's the name of it. And now I'm going to stamp my focal point. So I didn't discover this. It was through happenstance that I did this. That is transparent Yupo paper in little ATC size I picked up at Jerry's. And I'm going to stamp directly onto it with some, again, Stazon, because it will stay on anything. And I'm going to paint over it later, but that does take probably a good 10 minutes to dry, and you don't really want to heat set it because it's Yupo paper. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to make a mistake. I debated whether or not to leave this in, but I promised myself when I started this YouTube channel that I would show the real side of art, the dirty side. I know when I was first starting out crafting, I got really frustrated. Oh, it's happening. Oh, I don't know what I was thinking. I got really frustrated when all I ever saw were these beautiful finished pieces. And I know that people make mistakes. No one's perfect. So this helps me learn. So that's why I'm leaving this part in here. I do want you to know though, that I was super confident with myself when I was doing this. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. The colors are amazing. It's gonna look just incredible. In my head, it looked fantastic. And see, I crossed my fingers. And then that happened. I panicked a little bit. I was like, oh crap, I've ruined it. I have to kind of figure out what I'm going to do. And I'm trying basically to figure out how I'm going to cover this up. So again, much like with Zombie Frida, I'm using white paint. It helps, but it doesn't really cover it up like how I thought it was going to. But I get points for trying, right? Then I have the bright idea to go back and do what I did before, go back in and add those colors. But because I only added the peacock and the cheddar, it mixed a little bit too much and it made too much green, as you can see. Like there's already a little bit of green in the bottom right hand corner, but not that much green. But I'll take green any day over that fuchsia mess that I had going on. You can see I'm tapping my fingers. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do. I had intended to put that tag more towards the center of the page, but no. Now I'm realizing that I'm going to have to use the tag to mostly cover all of that up. And I was frustrated. So once I've got it like good in place, I'm actually just gonna have to set this aside for a minute because I was getting all up in my feelings and I was gonna hurt it. So I never condone the hurting of art supplies. I just want you to know that. Hashtag anger management. So here's the thing I was talking about with painting directly onto the Yupo paper, and it looks different with acrylic. That is marine and some golden fluid acrylic paint in the Quinacridone. I think I said that right this time. Golden nickel, I believe it is. I don't know. Check the description box below for a full list of supplies. And it looks different on the Yupo paper than when you use alcohol inks. I like how it looks because you can see the paint streaks. It looks, very sketchy and unfinished. And I just really like the way that it looks, especially coupled with art like this. I like that unfinished quality, unrefined maybe. It's like, it's not fine art. Anyway, I'm going over the wings with some white paint, and I really think the wings is where this, I don't know, that's what makes the whole bee when I do this with the wings, because you can just see the Stazon through it, and I don't know, I just really like it. So now I've gone back to the issue with the tag, and I'm going to try to darken up the edge. I'm using my Tim Holtz edge paper distresser, and what I'm planning on doing is adding some black soot in his archival inks. Those inks are awesome, and I really wish that they had released more of those colors. They didn't though. They only did 12. Anyway, so I went around the edges. It still wasn't enough. So I'm using my VersaFine pigment ink. That seemed to make the biggest difference. Next time, I'll probably just use a Stabilo. So anyway, all right, so now we have to get everything down onto the page, and I am doing this now with the goal. Oh, I actually cut out a couple of extra scribbly branches just in case. Right now I'm just kind of auditioning my craft supplies, if you will. Do you guys ever do that? You just kind of like fiddle in place. I left this in so you can see the process. This is how I fix that. So I'm auditioning where I want things to go. Like, you know, eventually this is going to wind up like an Oscar nomination. Like, how awesome would that be? Like, you know, my Oscar acceptance speech. I want to thank my Dina Wakley supplies for making this page. I couldn't have done it without you. Stazon Ink, Distress Collage Medium. Oh, I didn't even use that. But, well, you know what? It's been part of my journey. I want to thank all of those supplies for getting me to this moment. I couldn't have done it without you. Sorry. I can't help it. Anyway, once I have all of those things figured out where I'm going to put them down, I am going to make you guys watch me glue every single piece down. Just kidding. No, I cut all that out. I'm sorry, I need to get it together. I used the Dilutions collage glue stick to get the scribbled branches down because I was worried that if I used gel medium that you'd be able to see it, and the collage glue stick worked wonders. It was fantastic. I added some foam adhesives to the little bee just so it would pop off the page, and now I'm going to add my little February date stamp, and there's our finished product. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for listening to all of my ramblings. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.